What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are live streaming game number 3, or game number 4, my bad. Game number 4 between the Washington Capitals and the New York Rangers. It's a good game, at least so far, and that's kind of what we were hoping for. And we've gotten all we could really ask for in this game so far. A little bit of drama at the end of the first, a couple of power play goals, a back and forth game so far. Thank you for joining us, guys. It's Sunday night. You made it through the weekend. Hopefully you had a very nice weekend. At least here on the East Coast in the U.S., it's starting to warm up a little bit. It's actually going to get up to the 80s, I think, tomorrow. So let's go, baby. The summer is definitely coming on here, and I'm pretty excited. We have a lot to talk about with hockey today, because between what happened yesterday, what happened today, holy smokes, where do we start? So we're going to start off with the game from last night. Since the last time I talked to you guys, obviously the Bruins and the Leafs game was our big game last night. If you haven't watched that live stream, make sure to go back and watch that. It was a pretty good stream. We had a couple good discussions. But then after that, the Dallas Stars played the Vegas Golden Knights. That game didn't end till almost, I think it was after 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. The Dallas Stars would finally get their first win of the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs on the road at the Fortress. Nonetheless, they even had a dragon at the fort in Vegas. So, you know, this is a menacing team. That's a hostile environment to win in. And the Dallas Stars found a way. And I made a video talking about the Dallas Stars the other day, and I feel pretty good about myself. You know why? Because I predicted what, if the Dallas Stars were going to win, what they were going to need. And we got 2 goals from Wyatt Johnston, who, other than Jason Robertson, was their leading goal scorer. And I said, where is this kid? Where is he in the playoffs? He said, I'm right here, Kev. Just give me a minute. And there you go. Game 3, he showed up big time. Got 2 big goals. Mero Heiskanen got a goal. So overall, a big win for the Dallas Stars. Keeps them in the series. Gives them some confidence, at least, on the road here. And they avoid an elimination game tomorrow. This afternoon, we saw a really good game between the Jets and the Avalanche. More so for the Avalanche. Dominance out in Denver. That is 3 straight wins now for the Colorado Avalanche after dropping game 1. The Colorado Avalanche now have a 3-1 lead, and heading back to the peg for a whiteout, the Jets are now in an elimination scenario. Not necessarily the way I scripted this, but shout out to the Avalanche because they're showing us why they are the Colorado Avalanche. And, you know, Connor Hellebuyck, really not good. I expected him to be a lot better in this series. And that Jets defense that was so, heavily talked about has really kind of evaporated here in the playoffs. So, you know, give credit where it's due to the Avalanche. Myself and plenty of others have kind of discounted them. And the Avalanche are going to prove us wrong here, at least to this point. They have a chance to eliminate the Jets, I believe, on Tuesday. And then, of course, the game of the Stanley Cup playoffs so far. So the Vancouver Canucks take a 1-0 lead in this game out in Nashville. They have a 2-1 series lead. And you're hoping for the bounce back from Nashville, going back to Vancouver for Game 5. And then Nashville kind of turned the tide. Actually, they very much turned the tide in this game, scoring 3 unanswered goals to make it 3-1 Nashville. So the Predators really took it to the Canucks, and it kind of looked like that type of game. There was 2 minutes left, or 3 minutes left in the third period. And, of course, there was a backhanded attempt at the empty net by Colton Sissons. Missed, hit the post, bounces back the other way, and then Brock Besser gets a third-period hat trick. Now, he got the hat trick at the end of the game, or in the third period, but the first goal he scored was, I think, 2 minutes into the game, and then the hat trick goal was, I think, with 2 minutes left. Or no, my mistake. He scored with 2 minutes into the game, scored his second goal 2 minutes left in the game, and then, of course, with 6 seconds left in regulation, Brock Besser completed his hat trick, and it was 3-3 going to overtime. So just a crazy, crazy scenario. Vancouver knew they had all the momentum. They go into overtime, and less than 2 minutes in, Elias Lindholm puts in the game winner. And, you know, the important guys scored goals today for the Vancouver Canucks. Besser with a hat trick. That's now 4 goals in the past 2 games for Besser. And Elias Lindholm, like I said, getting the game winner. That's his second of the series. And the Vancouver Canucks stun the Nashville Predators out in Nashville, Tennessee. An incredible game. A really devastating loss for the Nashville Predators, but holy, the Vancouver Canucks, man. And to make things even more interesting, we know the storyline going into today. Casey DeSmith was injured. So Thatcher Demko, who was their starter all season, he gets hurt after Game 2. DeSmith goes in for Game 3. They win Game 3. Game 4, their third goalie, Artur Shilovs, comes in as the third goalie as the starter for Game 4. And they're down 3-1 in this game. They could have easily blamed it on the fact they don't have any of their starting goaltenders. That's why they lost this game. And they said, no, we're going to find a way to win this hockey game. And that's exactly what, unfortunately for the Predators, but the Vancouver Canucks kind of forced their will on this game. And you could argue they stole Game 3. Highway robbery in Game 4. Absolutely stunning finish. And watch out for the Vancouver Canucks, guys, because Brock Besser's hot. Elias Lindholm has some goals. If Pettersson can get some more scoring with JT Miller, this team is going to be a legitimate threat in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Good luck. So that is our update. Of course, tonight's game, 2-2 at the end of 2 periods between the Capitals and the Rangers. What's going on, Don? Thank you for joining us. Grimmers, thank you for joining us. And, of course, Willie Snyder. So all 3 of you, thank you for joining us on today's stream. Much appreciated. So yeah, so far tonight's game against the Rangers and the Capitals down in D.C. Capo Caco got a goal less than a minute into the first period. Kind of just a weird fluke play by Nick Jensen. Unfortunately, Nick Jensen would take a penalty later in the period. We'll get there. Martin Fehervary gets his second of the postseason. A big goal for him. Makes it 1-1. And then a weird penalty with Jensen. I'm going to be honest, I lost a little bit of respect for Adam Fox with the way he handled it. It's not that they called it, it's more so the way he reacted, the way he was kind of on the ice, hunched over, struggling to skate, and then next thing you know, he's ready to go for the power play. And just not okay with that. That to me is, you lose respect in my book for that. I'm not disagreeing with the call, I'm disagreeing with the way Adam Fox handled it afterward. And obviously, the Rangers get a power play goal, Vinny Trocheck, power play goal, with 16 seconds left in regulation, or at 16 seconds left in the first period. And then Tom Wilson goes after Adam Fox, tries to rip his head off, gets a penalty, and thank goodness for the Capitals, they were able to kill off that penalty to start the second. And Hendrix Lapierre gets the game-tying goal in the second. So after 2 periods, 40 minutes of action, we are tied at 2 in Washington. Thank you for joining us, Ali Desh. What's going on? Yo. What's going on, Ali Desh? Oh, thank you for joining us, Ali Desh. He just wanted to say that the Rangers are not his favorite team. But the Caps are worse. There you go. Yeah, so the third period just started. So far, the shots, actually the Capitals are out shooting the Rangers 17-18. And for the first, I think they said it was the first 15 minutes of the second period, I think the Rangers got outshot like 10 or 11-1. So a really good push by the Capitals. But with that all said, the Rangers were fairly disciplined. I think they took 1 penalty in the second period. And they gave up the 1 goal, but I kind of expected that from Washington. You knew the Caps were going to come back with something. Yeah, so they took 1 penalty. Braden Schneider took. So other than that, pretty disciplined on both sides, at least in the second period. Another storyline that's sort of developing right now is Alexander Ovechkin is not playing that much right now. He has not looked good this whole series. I actually feel really bad for Ovi. And I wonder if he has some kind of injury. And maybe you guys, if anybody knows, because unfortunately, like I said, Ovechkin I think he has the least amount of shifts out of anybody on the Caps today, which is just unheard of. But I think that's where we're at right now with Ovechkin. So the Ranger goals were Capo Caco and Vinny Trocheck. And, yeah, that first goal by Caco, that's one Jensen's really going to want back. He had a really terrible first period. It was, the penalty at the end of the first that set up the Rangers' goal. And then, like I said, right off the bat, a minute in, he gave the puck right to Caco for an easy pop-in. Yeah, I think honestly, Ali Dash, I know what you're saying. You're joking around, but in all honesty, I really do think that Ovechkin should shave the beard. That might help him out a little bit in this case. Listen, Dad time's picking up on Ovechkin a little bit, right? I think he has 2 sons now. He's got a lot going on. Definitely not easy, but yeah, you could tell over the last 3 years, Ovechkin has aged a lot. I think that gray hair really does show that pretty well for Ovi. I remember watching him in person. He was the first NHL player I watched that was like, whoa. This guy is almost non-human and almost alien-like. Just this huge dude that when you could hear the ice churning when he would skate, it was incredible. I'd never heard or had that experience watching anybody play before, especially on the Islanders in the early 2000s and mid-2010s. The Islanders were not very good. So the only real type of players I saw were like John Tavares. I never saw Ovechkin. And once I did, totally different animal. I've been able to go down to Washington, luckily, a couple times to watch him in person in D.C. So that's been pretty cool. And I think that was my first... It used to be called the Verizon Center, but the Caps Arena was the first non-Islanders rink I think I went to. I don't remember if I went to the Devils Prudential Center before that. But it's either the New Jersey Devils Prudential Center or Capital One Arena, or at the time it was the Verizon Center. That was my first official road game watching the Islanders. I'm here but not here. I'm gaming. What are you playing? Are you playing? I know, Urban, you like Call of Duty or whatever. You always post that on Twitter. I'm going to assume that's what you're playing. I'd like to point out that I'm older than Ovi. Listen, Ali Dash.
No.
To each their own. No, I think he actually is. Ovechkin's... Is Ovechkin 40 yet? He might be 40 years old. We got a penalty here. I don't know who it is, but... Is it Oshie? Oshie's going to the box. Oh, man. Here we go. Okay. Oshie did high stick Trocheck. Trocheck I think he's gotten some acting lessons from his time on Broadway, but, in all honesty, it is a penalty. I don't like the call, but I get it. Why'd you just say Panarin? Did Panarin just score on the power play already? Jesus. Yeah, power play goal. So there you go. So the Rangers, there you go. So 3-2 Rangers, another power play goal. This is the thing, though. You cannot give the Rangers power plays. They are going to score. That's tough for Oshie.
That's my spot.
Yeah, that's a gut-wrenching goal there for the Caps. Oof. So the Breadman makes it 3-2 Rangers. And I have another example of the Islanders and Rangers coming together. I never thought I would see this, and I think this is going to be a summer video because I think Twitter is one of the best things to happen for the Islanders-Rangers relationship in a weird way. Not hating each other, but actually liking each other more. I'm gonna talk about it over the summer, but there were some Hurricanes and Devils fans going after Semyon Varlamov today, basically, bringing up there was allegations against him and accusations from his girlfriend in 2014. And it's since been proven that actually his girlfriend was the one that was abusive and all this stuff. And it was kind of like Hurricanes and Devils fans throwing shade at Varlamov. And, leave it to those types of people to do that. You guys know who I'm talking about. It's always those types of people. You look at their Twitter or Instagram bio, and it pretty much tells you everything. And unfortunately, Varlamov had to overcome that. But yeah, I mean, none of it ended up being true. But the Ranger fans were sticking up for the Islander fans there. So shout out to the Ranger fans again. Like I said, that's something we're gonna have to talk about again because I think the Islanders and the Rangers fan bases are way, almost too friendly where it's no longer, like it's losing that sting of the rivalry. But I think, I said this in my video the other day, I think both fan bases respect each other's team and the way they are. And I think as weird as it is, it's taken Twitter to kind of do that. Now, I will say teams like the Hurricanes and things like that doing the 9/11 chirping, that's going to go anybody that's from the New York area, and I'm surprised Devils fans didn't take to that more. Not really liking that stuff, but yet the Capitals fans were talking about 9/11 like the Pentagon didn't also happen on 9/11, which is super ironic. I think it's just a bunch of drunk idiots at the game, but they were at the game kind of chirping the Ranger fans about 9/11, and it's like, okay, that's kind of odd. Yeah, Ellie Dash, I never thought I would live the day to be saying that about Ranger fans, but here we are. And there are so many good Ranger fans here on the channel that really like our content, so, we must be doing something right here. That's a trip? Oh, man, that's a... I see, these are the things, the penalties have not been great this series. Yeah, Ali Desh, this happened in Game 3. It was chirping at the game, but you know what? Islanders fans were getting chirped on Twitter about 9/11 also from Hurricane fans. So this isn't the first time in the last week that the 9/11 chirps have been going on. And it is pretty insane. I almost gave credence to it and reposted it and things like that, but you know what? I don't want to give it more gasoline than it's already gotten from those people, and it's just loser mentality. It really is. I cannot. I don't know who would have the heart to even do that, but I don't know. Really, really sad. So let's see. The Capitals are going to get a chance here. The officiating hasn't been great today. But you know what? The Capitals got a power play here. So if the Capitals can respond, or at the very least they were given a power play here, they had a chance to respond. We'll see if they're able to kind of capitalize on it. Oh, thank you, Willie. Yes, guys, make sure to like the stream. Thank you, Willie. Yes. You guys have to remind me every once in a while to remind you guys to like the stream. Yes, I appreciate that. The Rangers just, when I'm watching them, they just have so much confidence on the power play and the PK. And you're kind of seeing that again right now. And the Capitals' power play isn't that much of a threat. Especially with Ovechkin playing the way he is right now. It's kind of hard to watch, honestly. What's going on, Ricky? Welcome to the stream. So the Rangers kill another penalty here. So 13 minutes left on the clock in this game. 3-2 lead for the Rangers. Penalty killed off on the Caps power play. It's going pretty good over here, Ricky. Started finally having some nice weather today. It's supposed to be nice the next couple days here in New York, so we'll see. Maybe start picking up a little bit of a tan this week. We'll see. Maybe if I'm lucky. So Roy Anderson, if that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, so last night in the American Hockey League, we're starting to see the wild card / first round, whatever you call it. The Belleville Senators beat the Toronto Marlies, and Kyle Clifford went after Bokundiji Imama. I don't know exactly what happened. I know Imama has played in the Kings organization. He was a draft pick by the Kings, and he's kind of a feisty player. And I know that he has a reputation for being a tough, hard-nosed player. And we obviously know Kyle Clifford, right? So apparently during the handshake line at the end of the series or the game, whatever, Kyle Clifford went after Imama. So. Yeah, that was crazy. Imama? Yeah, that sounded right. I remember on the old NHL franchise modes, I would see him and I'm like, this has to be a fake guy, but then they had his face next to it. It's like, oh shit, that's a real dude. Wow. Okay. And he's still playing today, so he's not just that player that has a weird name and never really became anything. He is a legitimate AHL player, maybe an NHL player, fringe NHL player, but so to take a quick look here before the puck drops again, that is not the latest update on this game. Take a look at the game cast, just so you guys get an idea kind of where this game is at. And like I said, the last couple games, based off of the theory here, realistically, the Rangers should win this game 4-3. If we're going off of how this series has kind of gone so far. This series has been pretty much the same scoring every game. And actually, is that right? Have the Rangers scored four goals in each game? Okay. So the first two games the Rangers scored 4. Last game they scored 3. So maybe they only score 3 today. Who knows? All shots. Perfect. And yeah, just in the first couple minutes of the third period, look how many quality opportunities we've seen from the Rangers inside the house. Right? That's 3 quality shots right there. Panarin, Kreider, Trocheck, nothing for the Capitals. Alexei Protas had the best opportunity so far for the Caps. Just doesn't seem like the Caps have it right now. And that's been a problem for them this whole series. But at this point, it's pretty safe to say I just think they're outmatched here. I think this is going to be the only sweep we see in the 2024 first round of the playoffs. Yeah, it's been a good day so far for the teams from New York City. The Knicks took over Wells Fargo Center. We know Rangers fans have been doing that the last couple of years. Ooh, during the Rangers rebuild. But apparently they were chanting Joel Embiid is not good. Joel Embiid sucks. They were saying, Knicks in 5. They were chirping there at Wells Fargo Center. I'm sure there was some kind of stuff after the game that hopefully everybody's safe. But definitely disrespecting Philadelphia there. So I'm sure that didn't go over well for most of the Philly fan base this week. You know what? I've seen it, though, even for the Mets. I'm a Met fan, so I see something similar. Where the Met fans go down to Philly. They go to the to Citizens Bank Park, and they do a similar thing when they beat the Phillies. So Sonny Milano laboring in pain pretty bad. Hopefully he's okay. He just went to the dressing room, and kind of quickly. So there goes Milano. So one less player there for the Caps. Long Island native, Sonny Milano. Isn't that weird how we were so close? We thought that the Hurricanes, the Islanders, the Lightning, and the Caps would all get swept. And now it looks like maybe at this point, maybe just the Capitals will get swept. Everybody else was able to avoid it. But now the weird thing is, now you're looking at the Leafs maybe losing in 5, the Jets losing in 5, the Predators losing in 5. This, all of a sudden, the teams that were about to get swept, now we're looking at everybody else like, oh crap, there's a lot of teams that could lose in 5 games. There's not a lot of 2-2 series right now. Who's worse, Philly fans or Boston fans? Overall, okay. So I've never been to Boston. I will preface that. I think there's more of a hatred for New York in Boston. I'd be more afraid going to Boston at night than Philly. But I'd love to know what you guys think. That's my opinion. There was somebody trying to roast me the other day because I was saying how, he was kind of saying, he's like, I hate Islander fans, Ranger fans, Devil fans. I want us to be more like Bruins, Boston fans. I'm like, does this guy, is he trolling or is he being serious? Because Boston might be the worst out of all of those. And that's saying a lot coming from a New Yorker. That might be the worst one, Boston, in my opinion. But of course, that's sometimes you get some Carolina fans that don't really understand the Northeast, like the behaviors of some of these people. And let's be honest, I think the problem with Philly, Boston, New York, New Jersey, all those people are way too similar, which is why they bicker and fight so much. But if you know, you know. That's kind of my stance on that. But yeah, I would say Boston is worse than Philly. Did you watch the Jets game today? Jets couldn't have... I think the thing they cared about most, and hopefully he's okay, Vlad Nemesnikov took a slap shot right to his face. And it looked pretty bad. So I just hope he's okay. He took a really bad shot there, so... Belmont Park racetrack, did they tear down the grandstand? Hardly nobody goes to the track live. It's all phone betting. Yes. So I was just there the other day. Right now they're working on the shopping district down at Belmont Park, and they're kind of constructing that right now. But I have heard rumors and speculation that they're going to be redeveloping that area. So it's yes, Roy. I think that's how you pronounce it. Is it Wah or Roy? I'm going to go with Roy for now. Roy Anderson. They are going to be doing something with the grandstand there. And actually, in a little bit, it's already 10:30. We're going to see the Kings and the Oilers dropping the puck in a little bit. David Rittich getting the start for the Kings. They're down 2-1 in that series to the Oilers, and we'll see if they could find a way to even this thing up. I'm hoping that that series goes on a little bit because I'd love to do a live stream of that series. Because I haven't been able to do one yet for the Oilers this playoffs. You know, honestly, I focus on the teams around me. The Islanders, the Rangers. If the Devils make it in, the Devils, Penguins, Flyers, Bruins. I usually go for those teams. They usually do the best. That's where most of my viewership comes from, is from the Northeast. So I tend to favor those. And to be honest, I don't like staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning watching Dallas, Vegas. As much as that's a great series, that's a really long night for me. It's been a good series. Yeah, it just seems that way, right? They're kind of tough. Evander Kane's gotten knocked around a little bit. I saw a couple of times guys going after him, kind of hitting him a little bit. Yeah, it's one of those things. The Oilers are definitely the better team here, but the Kings, if they could just hold their own, keep the games tight and close, they definitely have a chance, you know. So we have 8:30 left in this game, potentially, but at least in the third period. Yeah, Roy, I'm really hoping. You know what? In my playoff bracket, I had Dallas winning the Stanley Cup. So if they got swept by Vegas here, I would have felt like an idiot. So I'm glad that they actually played really well last night. It's very... that's a big win for Dallas. That's a confidence boost for those guys for sure. And you got to think, all the veterans on that team, you know, Ben, Sagan, Pavelski, Suter, those guys have been there before. I know Ali Desh is saying he's surprised they didn't just fall. I didn't expect that at all, honestly. I would have been surprised if they got swept, but it was sure looking that way after the first two games. Kings can't score just like the Islanders. Yes, very similar teams. Absolutely. I will say, though, the Islanders have better goaltending than the Kings. That's the real difference between the Isles and the Kings. I mean, Talbot and Rittich are okay, but I wouldn't put them in the same tier as Sorokin and Varlamov. And I already have it queued. I saw, I think it's Gravite is his name. He posted a Sorokin video. I'm like, damn it, I was supposed to get that one. But you know what? I kind of saw his video, so I'll probably do something more so from the Islanders fan perspective and looking at his future. But yeah, Sorokin's had a really tough season this year. So I'll probably be doing a video on that. But I think that's the difference between the Kings and the Islanders. $7:28 left. Can the Caps tie this game at 3? It's going to be really tough. Oof, they're in really tough here. Shesterkin, I think, is going to lock it down at this point. But you know what? Based off what we saw earlier in the Predators-Canucks game, nothing is for certain. You know, honestly, Ali Desh, I think this series is actually the least interesting right now. The Capitals and the Rangers. The Rangers have dominated play most of the series. The only real storyline here is Rempe and Wilson, and they haven't dropped the gloves yet. So, other than that, there really hasn't been a ton there. There's been a lot of chippiness and questionable hits and things like that, but in terms of like the actual game play and things like that, I'm actually kind of disappointed with this series. Who's your starting goalie for Isles Game 1 next season, Varley or Sorokin? I I got to worry about the rest of this season with the Islanders. I mean, definitely right now you go with Varlamov. Sorokin does not play again. Let him stew in that game, that Carolina game, and I think that's going to be motivation for him over the summer. But next season, that's a good question, honestly. I want to see the preseason first, Ali Desh, before I get there. Whoever's playing the best in the preseason should get that starting opening night game. And we actually should be very soon getting the schedule for next season. Usually they do that during the playoffs, if I remember correctly. Or maybe it's later. It might not be till July, if I remember. See, now I don't remember, because the last couple years with COVID, it's a little weird. The schedule sometimes gets given to us earlier than later. Sometimes it's during the playoffs, but again, because it was during the pandemic, we were trying to catch up. So the playoffs ended later in the summer, like the middle of the summer, instead of just ending in June like it usually does. So, or will both of them be Islanders next season opener? Yes, I think Sorokin and Varlamov. They're actually really good friends from Russia. That's part of the reason the Islanders were able to get Sorokin in here. They were able to sign Varlamov, and the plan was from day one, once they got Varley here, he was going to be a selling point to get Sorokin over as well. So I think we'll see both of them, yeah. I don't see the Islanders trading Sorokin. I mean, I know his contract doesn't look great. 8 years, $8 million per year right now. I just think this was a bad year for him. I believe in Ilya Sorokin. And maybe is that because I have to believe in him? Maybe, but I from what I've seen from him over the last 2 years, he's not a hothead goalie that's going to just lose his mind and just not be any good anymore. He doesn't seem like that type of guy. It's more so a lot of teams have figured out Sorokin a little bit in the sense that he's kind of easy to... Once you get bodies in front of him, he tends to not do so well. He has a hard time tracking the puck. And he's been giving up a lot of softy rebounds. And I think those are the things he's still going to have to believe he's going to have to fix over the summer. Yeah, I mean, I've seen... What was the one I saw earlier? I was going to do a video on this. But I saw, and I don't want to call the guy out. He does Islanders Islanders content on Twitter. But let me see if I can find this. So, what do you guys think of this trade? So the Islanders get William Nylander and Joseph Wall for Casey Cizikas, Adam Pelech, and Ilya Sorokin. That's the worst trade I've ever heard. The Islanders would say no to that every single time. So I don't know what that guy was thinking. But we're going to see that very shortly. Just the crazy mock trades that people come up with. I like to think I'm a little more fair with it. Last year, I was really good at the deadline. I predicted Ekholm to the Oilers. I predicted Tanner Jeannot from Nash going to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Which other ones did I predict? I think those were the two that I got like right on, solid. So yeah. This year, I didn't even know the trade deadline happened. That day it happened, I didn't even know. The beginning of this year was really crazy for me, so. Lou should retire, move on, enjoy life. Yeah, honestly, I think so. I think the Islanders need to go in a new direction because we've seen, what's that saying? It's, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and 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 over again. That's the definition of insanity. And the Islanders have continued to run out the same team over and over. You get the point. The Islanders need to change some things up. They need to get younger. They need guys that can skate. They need guys that can move the play forward, that can bring the puck into the zone other than the last name Horvat. The dump and chase doesn't work for the Islanders. It's just not. It's just not feasible right now. This team is too slow. So less than 5 minutes to go here in the third. We'll see what happens here the rest of the way. Yeah, I posted a video about the Leafs today, too. Same thing, right? They continue to lose to the Bruins or whoever in the first round of the playoffs, right? The definition of insanity is the same for the Leafs, yes. But what's interesting about the Leafs that's funny, to me at least, is I made a video today and I said, you know, the Leafs need to have hope. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, and then I said, I'm like, you know what, for the Leaf fans, I understand your frustration. I get it. And then somebody commented kind of agreeing with that. Like, when you said just to have hope, I almost clicked out of the video. And I was like, oh, that's why you got to watch the whole video, because that's been a problem. A lot of people are watching my videos and they're watching 5 seconds of the video and they're like, this guy sucks. Dude, you got to watch the whole video. I explain it later in the video. I'm criticizing your team or whatever. Watch the whole freaking video, please. I'm not just saying that because of the watch time and the engagement. Watch the freaking video, and I give my point across. It's kind of like a long essay, right? The video just flows, and some people are not willing to do that. But I digress. There's no need for that rant today. I gotta assume they're gonna pull Lindgren soon here. It's 3 minutes left in the third. The Caps have possession. But the Rangers are so good at scoring the empty netters here, so the Caps got to be really, really careful. And a bad penalty here. This is why I don't like the Rangers. I don't like this. I do not like this call. I get it. He has his stick between his legs, but it's not where he tripped him. He stopped skating and then fell over. I don't like that. And with under 3 minutes left in an elimination game, you're going to call that? I disagree with that. I'm more of the mindset, let the guys play. Don't let power plays and penalty kills dictate a playoff series. I'm really not okay with that. That's not me. But Barry Trotz in Nashville, same brand. Preds can't score. Yes. The difference with the Predators, though, I think they just need those guys to develop and get there. I don't know if it's necessarily like, because the teams aren't giving those guys away like cookies. You got to find a way to draft those guys. And they do have Philip Forsberg, but other than Forsberg, they're going to need to get more goal scoring. I mean, Evangelista's done well. I think Kalle Jarkko got a goal in this series. So guys are scoring. It's got to be from different areas, right? And they just don't have the Artemi Panarin that he steps on the ice and he's an immediate threat, or a Pasternak or a Marchand. 5 years ago, Ovechkin, right? We want to throw this back to the Capitals. It's just a different thing, and that's one of the problems with the Islanders. The Islanders don't have that either. So Lindgren was going to the bench. It looks like they're going to try and even up the odd man attack here. Lindgren's at the top of the hash marks. So there you go, empty net for the Caps. And Roslovic, there you go. That's it. So that is our first and only sweep of the first round. Now, this was an argument I heard from Ranger fans. There was debate whether they should maybe... Now again, this is Twitter. Saying they should start Jonathan Quick and let Shesterkin rest. Because, here's the grim reality for Ranger fans. I'm going to say it right now. 52% of the time, when a team sweeps in the first round, 52% of the time they lose the next series. So, there was rumors that maybe they should start Quick just to get that out. So we'll see if that ends up playing a factor for the Rangers in the second round. So more likely than not, the Rangers will lose in the second round. But there's still a 48% chance that they do advance past the second round. So, hey, what's going on, Shaka? Welcome to the chat. He comes in right at the end of the game like he always does. He comes in right at the end of the stream. Shaka, I love you, but you're crazy, man. Yeah, Lindgren's not too happy either. I think they pulled him too early, honestly. Too early. Yes, I meant to rest Shesterkin, but they were going to put Jonathan Quick in to start this game because, like I said, 52% of the time, if you sweep in the first round, you end up struggling and losing in the second round. 52% of the time you lose, 48% of the time you win. And unfortunately, as an Islander fan, I remember, what was that? 2019, the Islanders swept the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round. Well, they got swept by the Hurricanes in the second round. So sometimes that extra time off and rest actually ends up being a negative. And what's going on, Sal? There you go. So that's going to be the argument from Red Wing fans. Is, yeah, the Wings could have put up a better fight. I got to be honest with you. I think the Penguins would have been the best matchup against the Rangers. The way the Penguins play, they're difficult. They have Crosby. The Capitals are washed. I hate to say it. I love you Caps fans, but it's been... Ovechkin barely played this game and didn't look right. And then... the Red Wings, like I said, I don't think there's enough there for the Red Wings right now. I think they would have actually done the worst. If there's a way that a team could have lost this series in 3 games, I think that would have been the Red Wings, honestly. And you could hear the crowd here at Capital One Arena. There's a lot of Ranger fans. That's rough. So that's it. So we'll see if this helps them or hurts them. We'll see what happens here. So the 4th time in franchise history sweeping a best-of-7 series. And the last time they did it, oh God, this is a throwback. And it's not that impressive. So the 2007 season, the Rangers swept the Atlanta Thrashers. The only time the Thrashers ever made it to the playoffs. The Rangers swept them in 4 games. 2007. Yikes. Arizona might have been better. No, I don't think there's going to be any fights in the handshake line. And what's going on, Don? Welcome back. Rangers sweep the Caps. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Roy. I appreciate you joining us today. I'm trying to live stream as much as possible. Like, at this point, it's almost nightly. I can't say every single night because last week I did miss 2 days. But it's almost every night I am live streaming. Wilson and Rempe, middle ice. Pretty good. Yeah, Thrashers reference, right? I know, that's crazy. The Atlanta Thrashers, the one time they made the playoffs in their franchise history, they got swept. They did not win a single playoff game. And they're chanting Igor at Capital One Arena. Oof. That hurts. And I really wonder what's going to happen with Ovechkin because he honestly did not look good at all. What this series came down to were the Rangers were faster. They were able to score on the power play. The Capitals' penalty kill was not good enough. Charlie Lindgren had to stand on his head in this series, and he did well at points, but he just wasn't good enough. Ovechkin wasn't there enough. Oshie didn't score enough. It came down to the young guys. If there's one thing I will say for the Caps that's a good thing, seeing Hendrix Lapierre scoring. Connor McMichael didn't score, but he's been playing well. He, led to one of the tripping calls late here in the third period. So there's things to be excited about for the Caps. Feovari got 2 goals on the back end. Alexei Protas had a couple really good opportunities during this series. So for the Caps, it sucks, it hurts, but the reality is I think this is gut check time for them to realize we need to make some moves this offseason. And the Rangers will wait to see what happens with Carolina. And the Islanders, it's probably going to be Carolina, but listen, crazy things happen, right? So we'll see how things go. Like I said, I don't think the Rangers really even got all that banged up this series. I mean, Adam Fox, I think he seems to be fine with his knee injury, so he should be able to recover by, pretty much as soon as that power play started. But nonetheless, I think for the most part, I think they got through this series pretty unscathed. Really, really good thing, too. Shesterkin looks really good. And I have to think right now, with the way Shesterkin's playing against a goalie like Freddie Anderson or Varlamov, that could be a really good series, whoever they end up playing in the second round. Like I said, I think right now, another really good thing for the Rangers is that defense looks a lot better than it's looked in years past. Some of the younger guys are developing, right? Braden Schneider's really coming into his own. Keandre Miller is frustrating at times, but he's played well for the most part in this series. But I sit here and say to myself, Carolina's kind of known for kind of doing the same thing as the Rangers with maybe embellishing for getting those calls, so I wonder how that's going to even each other out. And I think the Rangers' penalty kill is very, very solid, and that, I think, is going to let them go very far in the playoffs this year. If you have a team that it doesn't matter if you're on the power play, penalty kill, 4-on-4, if you have confidence that no matter what the situation is, you have confidence that you can get it done, that is huge. And the Rangers have that right now. So... And yeah, thank you, Shaka. Yeah, we hit 3.5 thousand subscribers. 3,500 this morning. And I want to talk about that real quick here. Thank you to everybody that's been joining the channel, new to the channel. The old OGs, right? Ali Dash, Don, Shaka. I don't want to miss anybody. But all you guys, thank you for joining us, because at the end of the day, you guys watching the streams, talking to each other, that drives engagement, and that ultimately helps me get this channel out there to more people. Shout out to my Utah fans. They're probably not watching this because they're more worried about figuring out what their team name is right now. But shout out to the Utah fans, guys. Be very kind to them, because I gained 40 subscribers on Saturday, which was yesterday. Saturday morning, I gained 40 subscribers on the channel from my Utah video. I think I've gained at least 100 to 150 subscribers from Utah fans. Anybody that's saying hockey doesn't belong in Utah or Salt Lake City doesn't know what they're talking about. And yes, thank you, Ali Dash, Toe, PJ, all those guys. Yes, Morgan, when he actually shows up. But, yeah, all those guys. Thank you, Ali Dash, for that, yeah. I was thinking about doing something like that, a naming bracket, and it's funny because they're actually fighting with each other in the comments about what the team name should be, and it's hysterical. They're like chirping each other, trolling each other. I'm like, they don't even have a team name yet, and they're already going after each other. It's like, calm down, guys. I mean, in my opinion, I think for Utah, I think the best team name, I really like the Yeti. I think Utah Yeti would be perfect for that team. A lot of people like Blizzard up there, though. Like the Utah Blizzards, or the Blizzard, or the Blizz, Utah Blizz. And then like a Yeti mascot. What's going on, Mac and Steez? Welcome to the chat. So if you guys advance, which you should at this point, but the Carolina Hurricanes or the Islanders will be matching up against the Rangers. They clinched their series tonight against the Washington Capitals. The only sweep we saw in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, see, a lot of people like Blizzard. The problem I have with Blizzard, and I don't know if they have this in Canada, but if you guys have Dairy Queen, they have the Blizzard, like, ice cream. So whenever I hear Blizzard, I think of ice cream. I don't necessarily think of, like, a team name. I think that's way too easy of a joke. I really like the Mammoth, too. The Mammoth idea. You could come up with a really creative logo with the Mammoth. I would really like to see something like that, too. Okay, thank you for confirming that. So they do have Dairy Queen there. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys real quick the shot chart for tonight's game. You look right there. Trocheck right at the top, right in the house. Can't let those go in. The Kako goal, that was a really tough goal. The Feovari shot was a weird shot. And they actually scored a goal in the first period of Game 3 that way. Similar spot. Couple good chances for the Caps in the second. That's really where they showed life in this game, in the second. And the Rangers really took it to them in the third. They had a lot of high-scoring opportunities in the slot. And, ultimately, that was really the difference here, is just the Capitals really couldn't get anything going here. And the Rangers, the Panarin goal was nice. The goal from Roslovic, that's the empty netter, so that really, it counts, but it doesn't count in terms of my analysis. But, just not really good opportunities for the Capitals. And for a team that was about to get swept, they didn't really show the urgency that they needed in order to win that and to win that series. That transition is clean. Thank you, Shaka. Yeah, I'm using OBS Studio now. That's one of the recent additions to Goal Line Hockey over the last couple of months, and yeah. Yeah, Utah Venom, the Outlaws Venom, yeah. Again, the thing with Venom, right? That reminds you of the Spider-Man, the blacks. Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble for that. Yeah, the dark Spider-Man, right? The evil Spider-Man, or whatever he is. That's Venom. So it just seems like it's too easy to meme some of these, right? Like Blizzard is easy because it's like, oh, sponsored by Dairy Queen. Mammoth, the Mammoth is, when they lose in the playoffs, they went extinct, right? for Yeti, there really isn't like an easy like layup of a comeback for that team name, is there? Right? I guess the water bottle. I guess, but is that really the? I don't know if that's the worst chirp, but is your goal to do YouTube full time? Honestly, as much as I'd like to say yes, Mac and Steez, honestly no, because I think it's going to take away from my enjoyment of it. I'd love to have this as a really good part-time thing. But that's a great question, though. Sounds like Oshie may have just played his last game, stayed out late after the team left, did some extra stick taps and stuff. Sad to see him go out if that is it. Yeah, that's really tough. And I think this is going to be a look in the mirror summer for the Capitals. And I think it's going to be easier for the Caps because, like I said earlier, you see the emerging guys like Mariznachenko, Feovari, McMichael, LaPierre, Protis. Your future core is already starting to develop in Washington. It's more so letting go of that Cup team from 2018. And that means, we already saw Backstrom gone. Oshie probably gone. And he's a big one for me because I remember him scoring the shootout goal for Team USA. That's a big one for not only the Capitals, for USA Hockey losing Oshie. I'm concerned about Ovechkin. I hope he's just injured because he looked horrible in this series. I just hope it's an injury because if that's something that he's just not up to snuff anymore, there's no way Ovechkin's gonna make it to Gretzky's record with the way he played in this series. He was really bad, and I feel bad even saying that because I know he gave what he could, but he just looked out of it. Yeah, and I saw a different version of Oshie the other night. I want to say, was it Game 3? He got that hit from Panarin, and he was really upset. And rightfully so. He's dealt with a ton of injury stuff this season. But I've never seen that side of Oshie, kind of the complainer and, like, giving the refs a hard time, like the way he was. I thought that was very uncharacteristic of Oshie. And maybe that is that frustration and knowing he's closer to the end than the beginning. And maybe that was just emotions taking over. But and I can't say your full profile there, Jari, but I appreciate you joining us here today. We've got a ton of great talent. Need a better decor. Lappy has that dog in him. I love his game. Yeah, and I love all these guys because they're from Hershey. So all these Hershey Bear guys coming up playing well, it's great to see. And thank you for joining us, Urban. Nice to see you coming in here. Yeah, I think... what's good is the experience that these guys are going to get from playing in Hershey. They're going to go back to Hershey, right? LaPierre. I think Mariznachenko is hurt, if I'm not mistaken. But LaPierre, McMichael, all those guys going back to Hershey. Protis. They're only going to help Hershey potentially win another Calder Cup. And we'll see if they're able to repeat. And Shocky, it's funny you say that because the last Capitals Cup win, the last series win for the Capitals was when they won the Cup in 2018. That happens. I remember, I want to say it was the Los Angeles Kings, from when they won their second Stanley Cup, they didn't win another playoff series after that. And here's another one. The Chicago Blackhawks. The Chicago Blackhawks have not won a playoff series since their last Stanley Cup during the Dynasty years. So, unfortunately, a lot of teams will fall. Tampa has fallen gracefully in the sense that they won the Cup back-to-back years, and then they went to the Stanley Cup final the year after. Some teams don't get that opportunity even. And, it's really a testament to what Tampa did and their ability to kind of stave off the inevitable. But, yeah, I mean, there's a couple teams I could think off the top of my head. The Kings and the Blackhawks, I think in particular, went on really cold streaks, and still for the Blackhawks since their Stanley Cup. Okay, so Shaka said the Blackhawks beat the Oilers in the bubble. That is true. But I don't like to count that playoff bubble situation because the Arizona Coyotes won in the playoff bubble. The Canucks won in the playoff bubble. So we could look at COVID and not COVID year. Same thing for the Canucks, right? I think they went to the Stanley Cup final in 2011. They didn't even win the Cup, but 2011 they went to the final. I think they went 9 straight seasons without winning a series. So, but technically, Shaka's correct. Technically, they won a playoff series. Not to mention Leonard in the system. Yeah, I completely forgot about Ryan Leonard. Yes, that's really good. The thing for the Capitals, I think Charlie Lindgren was very promising this season. I really liked when they got him. I know at the time. I remember when they signed him, people were like, I don't know if this guy's good. And everybody was excited about Kemper because he won the Cup with the Avalanche, but they forget his entire career before he won the Cup in Colorado. He was kind of shaky to begin with. Charlie Lindgren was the up-and-coming younger guy. I saw him play. I think he played for the St. Louis Blues was the most recent team before he joined the Caps, and he also played for the Canadiens for a couple years. And everybody was kind of discounting what he could do because just people didn't see enough of him. We saw in this playoffs what he's capable of. But yeah, they need a legitimate goalie if they ever want to get back to the playoffs, and they need a guy that can score goals. And those guys aren't easy to come by, right? It's probably going to have to be Hendrix Lapierre, Ryan Leonard. Those are the guys that are going to have to be that type of player. Oh, so Leonard is going back to BC next year. Wow, so he did make up his decision. I wasn't sure about that. Because I know the last couple weeks he's been kind of like up in the air about that. There's a lot of guys that have been in that spot. They're like, do I go back to college? Do I try to win a championship? Or do I go to the NHL? And some of those guys just don't want to play in the American Hockey League, which, fair. But that's kind of becoming a trend now that the younger superstar-esque players, if they don't play in... kind of like a Connor McMichael where he played in the... I think he played in the WHL. Or the OHL. It might have been the OHL. But those guys come over at 20 years old. They age out of their junior team. And they come over to the NHL. But then sometimes they have to start playing 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 years in the American Hockey League. And that's kind of what happens with some of those guys. Yeah, I think the Capitals will be okay. I think, realistically, they missed the playoffs the next 2 years. I think that's where the Capitals are at. I think Ovechkin's going to leave during that time. Tom Wilson might end up becoming the captain of the Capitals. It depends on what happens with him because I don't think they're going to be able to move his contract. And I think they're just going to kind of pull the Trouba effect where it's like, all right, well, he's here. Let's just make him the captain. So maybe they do something like that. Like I said, the defense isn't terrible, but could get, I think Nick Jensen has pissed off enough Capitals fans this year. They probably would like to see Nick Jensen go. Rasmus Sandin showed promises, but wasn't great. Oh, they can only go to the NHL. Okay. Thank you for that clarification there, Shaka. And I think we have a bot in the chat. If somebody could remove him. Yeah, that's not cool, whatever you're doing. I don't know if this is a bot or it's someone just... I don't know. Alright, yeah. We need to get rid of this. Can you get rid of it? You're asleep, of course. Okay. Now I gotta figure this out. Sorry, guys. These people have to be stupid. Thank you. Whoever did it, thank you. I can't stand when people do that stuff. But whatever. That means enough people are watching that we have bots, right? I guess I take that as a compliment. What is that coming from? Oh, it was my phone. That's what it was. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened there, but I was trying to look at my computer, like my computer did something. It wasn't my computer, it was my phone. Whoops. Might be. Yeah, that noise was for me. It was an ad on my phone for YouTube. I was going to delete the guy, but you guys took care of it. Thank you. So here's the problem with that, Jari. The problem is, I don't see Ovechkin being okay with leaving the NHL as a bottom 9 forward. I think that was something that I remember hearing about Marc-Andre Fleury was, if Marc-Andre Fleury wasn't at the top of his game, he was going to leave. And I think that happened with Carey Price too. I think there was other factors with Carey, right? Mental issues and things like that. But I think if Ovechkin gets to the point where he's not at the level he knows he's capable of, he's going to go out with grace. I don't see him sticking around if that's the case. And that's why I really question what's going to happen this summer with Ovi, because I really don't know. If somebody told me, like, Ovechkin retired, I wouldn't be necessarily surprised. I think he has one more year left on his contract. But after that, I don't know if he's going to re-sign. I really don't. The Kings have had a pretty good start here to this game. They already have 8 shots. They're outshooting the Oilers 8-3. Yeah, Ovi's going to, when he does retire, Ovi's going to have to do a farewell tour around the entire National Hockey League. I could definitely see him doing that. And the Kings are hitting. This is going to be a good game. I could just already tell the way the Kings are playing right now, they aren't going to give it to the Oilers easy here. And they're bumping them around right now. The fans are into it. So that's going to do it for tonight, guys. It's already been over an hour. We're almost at an hour and a half now. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to like the stream. Make sure to comment. If you're watching the replay, if you're watching the live, comment down below which version you're watching. Are you watching us live right now? or you watching the replay. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we are in the midst of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So if you want the latest live streams, the latest news, all that kind of stuff, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will be giving an update because tomorrow morning I'll be posting a video about today's Predators game because the Vancouver Canucks stunned the hockey world today. So I'll be posting a video about the Canucks tomorrow morning. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, as far as everything else, we'll kind of see how things go tomorrow. I'm not sure who I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow. That's why, like I said, make sure you're following the community tab. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You have notifications on. And I'll give you guys all the updates on when we live stream again and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, the conclusion of tonight, the Rangers officially eliminate the Washington Capitals, the only sweep in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Really good series for the Rangers. Kind of disappointing for the Caps. And like I said, some of those veterans may be playing their last game today. And definitely not the way I think they would have liked to have gone out. But the Rangers move on. They look good. Their defense looks good. Their power play and penalty kill, there was some concerns going into the playoffs. Would they still be as hot as they've been? They've been just as good. Shesterkin looks really good in between the pipes. And for the Caps, the future looks really bright for these guys. They have a lot of good young prospects and already guys on the roster that even scored today, like Feovari and Hendrix Lapierre. There's a lot to be excited about for the Caps' future. And unfortunately, if you're a team in the Metropolitan Division hoping for a 5 or 10-year rebuild of the Capitals, I don't necessarily think it's going to take that long. They already have guys playing in the NHL on that Caps team that are going to lead that team moving forward. Yeah, thank you, Ken, for joining us here. Let's go Rangers. Yeah, it was a good game. They took care of business. And, you know, I would say other than the second period, the Rangers looked a little sloppy in the second. They were able to find a way to win this game in the third, and they looked like the urgent team that wanted to get out of this building with a win more than the Capitals did. And like I said, that's the kind of stuff where I think the Capitals are just burnt out and tired and old. And I think the Rangers kind of just took advantage of that. And sometimes what happens, too, with a team like the Capitals is they make the playoffs, but just making the playoffs is their championship. Because it takes so much sacrifice and just hardship and energy just to get to the playoffs. By the time they get there, they're out. They're out of energy. They're gassed. And that's kind of what happened in this series. But thank you for joining us. Ken, Shaka, Ali Desh, Jari, trying to remember who else was in here. Irvin stopped in for a minute. Don was in here for a minute. All you guys, Grimmers, thank you to all of you for joining us. Willie, Ricky, everybody, thank you so much. We hit 3,500 subscribers earlier today, and today I think I've already gained a dozen subscribers today. So, guys, thank you so much for all the support. Like I said, if you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We're going to continue to have NHL playoff content for the rest of the playoffs. We're going to go right over into the draft, right into the offseason, and next thing you know, it's going to be September. Puck drop on next season as well. So things don't stop around hockey's time here. Goal line hockey, there is no breaks. There's no breaks here. We continue through the off-season. We don't do off-seasons here either. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more live streams and all that kind of stuff through the next couple of weeks. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you